In this video I will show you more about .NET MAUI Shell and Flyout. So tune in and you will learn more about how you can customize the items. Welcome to another video about the .NET MAUI Shell. This is the second video about Shell, so if you missed the first one, that was an introduction, you can tune into that video and see how to get started with Shell. Or if you already know a bit about Shell, you can continue with this video, because here we will focus on how you can customize the flyout in Shell. So let's dive into Visual Studio to show some code. So here I have opened the Shell file. As you can see, I've defined a few flyout items and a menu item. So let's run this and see how it looks right now. Here we have the flyout, we have a white text, we have an icon color that is really hard to see. So let's go and customize how each item should look. So first we maybe want to set the background color. We can do that here. But flyout background color, let's say it should be light gray. And then you can go shell.item template, and with item template we will cover the flyout items. Let's add a data template here, and let's say we want it to be in a grid with 2 columns, one with 50 and one that covers the rest. And then we also need some padding, let's say 10. And now we can define how this should look inside. So we want the icon to be visible, so we use image, source, and then we create a binding to the icon property, just like this. And then we go to text, property of the flyout item, and for that we create a label. And for the text property of the label, we bind it to the text property of the flyout item. That is named title. Binding title. Then we can set the text color. Let's say it should be black. And we also want it to be bold, so set font attributes to bold. And we need to add it to the second column with index 1. Okay, let's run this and see what happens. So now the menu looks much more nicer, at least for the flyout items. That means that we also need to create a template for the menu item. So let's go and do that. And then we can use shell.menu item template. You can copy this one and just make some small changes to it. Okay, we can say that this color should be red instead, so we can see the difference. Okay, let's run it again and see if it affected the menu item as we think it should. Yes, here we have them, and the menu item is red. So that is one way you can work with customizing Shell. There are also other ways. So for example, if you want to define what should happen when you press it, you can also define a Visual State Manager. The easiest way to find out how to do that is go to the official documentation and read what states that are there. So here we have the Shell documentation. So we can go here and we can take a look at the different states and the default template itself. We have a normal state and we have a selected state. That means that we can modify them if we want. So let's do that. So if we want to add those states to our grid, we can do that. Like going here and add a Visual State Manager. visual group, state groups, and then we add a visual state group list, and into that we can add a visual state group. State group. Give it a name, common states as in the documentation. We add a visual state to it. Call it normal. Okay, now we can add some setters here. So visual state.setter is required here. And then we can add a setter for property, let's say background color. Set the value to, let's say, gray. Now we can try to run this. Yeah, all our flyout items are now gray. If we now want to change also for the selected one, we can do that. So let's say we copy this and use and set selected, and if it's selected it should be green. We can do that, and right now we have the problem that we have the same page for all of them, so let's change that. We can just remove that. Like this. Okay, let's run. And now we can see that home are green because that are the selected one. To show some different, we can also add another content page here. For example, content page, title apps, and add some content to it. Oh, that did not look good. Label text apps page. Okay, so let's go and run this. Now we can see this one is green because that is a selected one. If we go here and select apps, that one is green because it's selected one. If you want the flyout to be visible all the time, maybe when we do desktop apps, we want that. So let's do that. Then we can go here to set flyout behavior to locked. Now the flyout will always be visible like this. When using item templates, you will control each item. But if you instead want to control the whole list of items, you can also do that. So I will show you now how you can do that too. So we can remove this. We can still have it left for the menu item. Then instead we go here, shell dot flyout content template, or we can use the flyout content directly if we want to. So we can add a collection view here, and then we need to set the shell at the binding context. So we will give the shell a name. Yes, shell. So binding context, and we will use the x reference and shell, and item source will be a binding to the flyout items property. Like this. And with collection view, we need a data template. I will do another video where I will go more into details about collection view, so please subscribe to don't miss that one. So collection view.item template, data template. Okay, can reuse this one, but we will set it back to black like this. Okay, let's run this. Okay, so everything became just white, or maybe it's light gray because we set background color to light gray. So what we don't have done here is that we need to use a grouped collection view, and the reason for that is that you can see in my last video is that every flyout item can have multiple flyout shell content inside of it. So let's set it to grouped. It's grouped true, and now we can run it again. And now it works. If you want to change the width or height on the flyout, you can also do that. To do that, we will go here to the shell and set flyout width or height. Let's set width first and set it, for example, to 500, and height can be 500 as well. So let's look how that looks. And it will be like this. In most cases, I guess you are more interested in setting width than height because you want the height to be the complete height of the page. But in some cases, you maybe want to have space beneath it, for example. So you can also change the icon, but to do that, we'll first need to set it back to flyout, and then we can change the icon by setting the flyout icon to, we use the home one here too. Let's run. Here we have another icon, not the default hamburger menu icon. If we want, we can also define a backdrop. Flyout backdrop like this, black. And what happens then is that the content here will be grayed out. So if you maybe want to have a more transparent color, we can do like this. We can set it to 66 FFF and run to see if it works. Yep, nice. So now I have talked a little bit about how you can customize flyout in .NET MAUI Shell. There would be more videos about .NET MAUI and Shell, so please like this video, subscribe, and see you next time.